Hello, my dears. My name is Joanna, and I welcome you to the Johanna Taconis, the Deconstruction of C-PTSD podcast. In this episode, we will talk about maintaining hope, even in the darkest times. It is no secret that dealing with PTSD and trauma can lead to the darkest times a human can witness. Additionally, recent events made a lot of people very scared. For good reason, I fear. But, as I said often, panic doesn't help anyone and is not the way to go. Hope is a better way and so important during your healing progress. So let us talk about it. One of the questions I get asked most is, how did you manage to survive that? While this is a good question with many possible layers and debates, the underlying question usually is, how did you manage not to give up? Well, for one, I'm very stubborn. But stubbornness doesn't get you very far, as you just turn brittle and at one point you shatter. Hope is an essential part of that answer. Now, hope is once again a quite nebulous term with many interpretations and things woven into it. I am talking about the hope that when there is nothing left, you still keep going. When all is lost, that is when hope truly matters. It is easy to hope for things like a good mark when most of your life isn't in shambles. I'm talking about the hope that makes you see the next sunrise. And more importantly, how to maintain it. It is really like a lifeline that can take you through the darkest times. First, we talk about realistic goals, then to not cling to hope, and then one step at a time. Let us start with talking about realistic goals. When we are surrounded by darkness, it is only natural to try to create this beacon of light in comparison. But sadly, this is often an illusion. And while that is helpful in that very moment, it will come back to bite you. As this way, you build your next steps on an illusion or sand, which naturally crumbles sooner or later to reality. I wish I could say you will ride into the sunset with a partner and towards a castle you deserve after all you went through. But that is not how the world works. I can say you will live a fulfilling and happy life without having to worry about triggers or the like. This statement won't crumble and cause distress if brought into conflict with reality. Each time this friction is caused, it can cause triggers, worsening of your state, and so on. So it is better to keep realistic and open goals like, I will get well again, or I will find a way, or it will pass. The how is usually formed along the way, in my experience, sometimes in very surprising ways. Which leads us to the second point, that you shouldn't cling to hope. Sometimes you fell for the wrong hope, or things radically changed, or the like, and it is important to let go of it. Sometimes you have to bury a hope or a dream, which is brutal, in my experience. But if you don't do that, you will be buried alongside the hope you once had. It is easiest to let go of a hope if you have a new one available. In this case, I recommend taking a good look at the lost hope and see what is really important to you and what not, so you know what you can let go easily and what needs to take a new form. That also is often necessary if the situation changes, which is also why it is important not to cling to it, so you can recognize it in time and change things before they turn bad. It is unwise to force things to happen. That is why having more open goals and plans is usually better, because they adapt better to the situation and let things form naturally. And lastly, we get to the most crucial thing, that we take things one step at a time. The harder the times hit, the more important this gets. The bigger the storm of life is, the more important it is to lower your eyes to your immediately next steps. Do not focus on what could or could not be, just keep moving. And the more you reduce your world, the more you are able to do. Which means, if you want to be able to move in the greatest storm, you have to minimize your world as much as you can. And opening it up more, the better you are in control of the situation. This might feel a bit like a loss or giving up, but it is mainly pragmatism. Remember that you don't have to figure out everything in this very moment. This is what an unhealthy brain tells you. You have to have it all figured out and know exactly what you are doing. Going in the right direction is more than enough. Sometimes moving forward will have to do, and sometimes holding on will have to do. And as long as you do that, so long hope will remain alive and be your lifeline out of this mess. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Hope you are safe and well. And, as always, if you have any questions or feedback and the like, please let me know at contactme@johannatakonis.com. More information and transcript you can find as usually under johannatakonis.com/podcast/ and links are in the description. I hope to see you next time. Watch yourselves and have a wonderful time.